Hi everyone, it's Kat here. How are you all? Welcome back to my channel. So I've got a bit of a flip through here of a journal that I have just finished. It's taken me a couple of years to actually get to the point of creating this into a journal. I bought this book at a vintage market about probably over 2 years ago, and you can't see it because I have covered it, but it's a book of handicrafts. And I just loved it. It was falling a little bit apart at the spine. I will link above a link to the video that I did do when I actually repaired the spine. So this book was published in 1913, so it's over 100 years old. I also, on my Instagram account, in the description I link to my Instagram account. You'll see I did a reels on when I did this cover bit. But just some basics. The journal is around about 6 inches. Oops, I did have it right the first time. It's around about 6 inches wide, and I think it's roughly about maybe 8.5, or even, let's have a look. It's just under, it's probably about 8 3/4 tall, and it's got a 2.5 inch spine. Well, just under 2.5 inch. It probably could have been a 2.5 inch spine, but I had to work with the book. But I did notice that now I have got about 9 signatures in here. I did have 12, and I removed 3 because it was just getting too big. It was starting to get that real alligator mouth. So with the clasp, it does sit nicely, and it's got a little bit of room to expand. But I mainly plan to do, journaling. I'll do some mixed media in here, and I will lightly embellish it as I go along. But I'm really into just stamping and stickers and quotes and lists and just things like that. So I don't plan on doing lots of tags and stuff. So what else can I tell you? I just did this this type of closure here. I think it's called a fob closure. I honestly can't remember the exact name of it, but I did end up putting this lovely bit of doily napkin or placemat on the side that I cut down. On the back here, I've put my elastic part of the closure, and I've just created, I don't know if you can see there, that's a little bit of leather that I've stitched, and then I've glued that down. So that shuts it nicely, and it's got this lovely embossing on the cover here, which I just got some gilding wax and just rubbed over just to highlight those little bits there. On the bottom here, I've put all these lovely charms, and when I was going through my charms, I found this one here. A lot of these are actually what I've collected along the way, and they're from op shops and vintage shops and antique shops. This one here, I'm fairly certain this is like a tag I picked up like in some sort of bric-a-brac shop. So all right, so I filled it with a lot of my favorite things. So I do rather love this journal. It's got lots of interesting textures and fibers and things in it. So it doesn't fit overly flat, and that's because the spine, when I put my signatures in, it really pushed out the spine, and it was a learning lesson. So now I know why they have that little groove there, just to allow the book to lie flat. But it's not too bad, and I'm sure the more I use it, the more it's going to ease into laying flat. But I do have these lovely hands here and that helps me keep it flat when I'm working on it. So it's something I can definitely work with. It's not a problem, but it's a learning stage for my next lot of journals too, because generally when I make a journal, I do the cover from scratch, and I don't have a problem with this. But yeah, that's, I guess, the whole point. The more journals you make, the more experience you get, and the better you get at it. So this is the inside cover. This is some linen. I absolutely love these bunnies here, and I made a bit of a pocket so I can slip bits of paper inside there. And this is a Stamperia. I'm fairly certain this is a Stamperia paper, and it's got oriental themes. Absolutely love it. And this is actually the front cover of the pack, and I didn't want to waste anything. So like all the, you know, the branding and all the writing is here, which I covered over with some Tim Holtz fabric that I still had a tiny little amount left, because if I can reach, just a moment. So I made this pencil roll out of the fabric, and in it I keep my brush pens. So I've used some of the fabric in other journals that I've made, and then I made this fabric roll here. So all I've got left of it now is just this one little piece left here, which is just in my little scrap bowl just on my desk here. But yeah, so that's what I did to cover up the writing. Okay, so we've got some coffee stain paper here, and I finally got hold of that stamp, and the story begins. Absolutely love, love, love that stamp. Okay, and I've got some craft brown paper, some ledger paper, some, this is just some tea stained paper or coffee stained, and I've put some sprays on it with some interesting patterns here. This was a tag that was given to me in some happy mail, and I've sewn it into the signature, because on the other side I've got a seed envelope. This is some straw paper, and I treated myself to some of that from Rachel from Roxy Creations. This is some book page here with some moths. So this is I'm trying to remember what this was. I'm guessing, as it's card, it must be some sort of packaging that I've liked the window space here. So I've made a tag to fit down here, and this is some washi that I downloaded from Etsy, and I thought it went well with the butterfly there. That's some avocado stained paper, and that's the middle of the first signature with a little rose charm. And I just have this thing about elephants, and I picked this little charm up about 2-3 years ago, and I've always been trying to find a spot for it. So here it lives now in my journal. Okay, that's the other side of that packaging, and that's just an altered clothing tag that I just had a little bit of fun with. That's just a little strip of vellum, and I just put some, you know, crazy stitching and some textures and fabrics through there. There's some more book page there with some butterflies and straw paper, and here's some seed envelope. So I will make a nice tag when I get to this section of the journal, and I'll pop that in there. Okay, so some ledger paper. As I say, it is a writing journal, so I haven't really done a lot of embellishing. So that's the end of the first signature. Okay, so this is actual book page that came out of the original book, and I've actually included these pages in my paper packs, which are in my Etsy shop, and I've sold so many of them, and I've had a lot of really good reviews about the pages. But yeah, this book has some of the pages in it plus a whole ton of others, and you can see this is some Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady. Okay, so this one here is, I'm going to play with this a little bit more. This is something I did many years ago. It's probably one of my first attempts at mixed media, and to be honest, it's mixed media that got me into this crafting. And then I found out about journals and junk journals, and I kind of went on this little like side road journey, and I absolutely love making them. But I've come back a little bit more to the mixed media. So I've joined Wanderlust 2022, and I've been doing some other things with mixed media. So I'm really looking forward to kind of stretching myself and heading a little bit more in that direction. So this was some pages that I found when I was going through my stuff, and I thought I'm going to play around with these a little bit more and make these into like messy art pages. And again, this is just some little things. I was playing around with the embroidery functions on my sewing machine, and this is from a clothing tag. It says find your you, and this was a little, almost like a little kitty charm, or I think it's plastic, but it looks like wood, and it came on this little red piece of thread or yarn or string, whatever you want to call it, just in an order that I had. And this is some sari ribbon that I've turned into a ruffle on the edge of the page. So when you open it up, there's the other side there, and it's just got heart, and I put that there because it kind of reminded me of like a bee honeycomb, and then I've got the bee on the page there. So I'm going to, as I say, play around with this a little bit more and do some mixed media. So I've just popped that in there for now. And I love craft paper, absolutely love craft paper. So I've got a little side flap here, more ledger paper, some straw paper. So I've put some fabric pages in the journal, and on here I've stitched some lines. So I'm going to write, you know, a quote, or I'm just going to write something on the page, whatever at the time suits me. And then I'm just going to play around with that with some mixed media, and maybe even do some stitching on the page. So here's some avocado dyed paper. I've got a Tree of Life charm here. And now I have not got a tag on every single one, because these are just some lovely little heart beads, and I don't even remember where these came from. But again, they were kind of in my little stash of my things that I'm hoarding. And there's a little bit more of that fabric page, and some straw paper, ledger paper, more graph paper here, and there's some more of that book page with some more ruffle down the side. I'll probably end up gluing that and making it a little side tuck, or I might end up adding some more page to that. As I say, I left a few things deliberately unfinished, or not so much that they were unfinished, but I just left them with an option that I can change or do whatever I want with it when I get to that page. This is some computer paper with the dot matrix side. I sell that in my shop. I just think that's just such an interesting element that you can add for interesting pages. And this is more of the original book page of this book, and it's about watercolor, which I have been that's another thing I've been doing, is doing a watercolor class. And so I just thought that was amazing when I found that. I thought that is definitely going into my journal. Okay, so I think we're into signature 3 now. So this is another tag. Now this was given to me in some happy mail. I don't know if I mentioned that on this one, but this is some happy mail I received, and I'm fairly certain that this actually came with some beautiful, just absolute gorgeous tags, and just beautiful items in it. And I don't even know who sent it to me. It was an actual genuine rack, which is a random act of kindness. And I'm turning around because my bag is just behind me, so I will just grab it. So this is my bullet journal here that I'll link that up as well. That was when I made this journal, I did a video about it, and it's holding up well, and I use it every day. That's come off a little bit, but I'll just get some glue and I will stick it down. But there it is there. I got this with the rack, and I got this beautiful poem here. Princess Diana, carry out a random act of kindness with no exception or reward, safe in the knowledge that one day someone might do the same for you, Princess Diana. So I absolutely cherish these tags. They're so beautiful. beautiful collage work, and I just love the black and white photo on there. So again, I stitched it into the journal so that I can do some writing on the back of it. That's how I like to add my tags to a journal. So I do like the pockets, but I prefer the writing space, to be honest. So this is just how I've done it. So some more straw paper, some more book page, some coffee dyed paper, and there's some more of the original book page, and that's about greenhouses, and some more about pot plants. This is some more of that Tim Holtz fabric, and I just made a ruffle on the side of it. I think that this coffee dyed paper had seen better days, and I think it had quite a few rips in it, and hence why I did some digital stamping on the corners of it, and I put some washi tape to repair it. But I just loved how grungy it looked and the lines that came across it, so I wanted to use it. So I would never put it in a journal that I would sell, but I put it in my own journal. So I think that's why it's got all the washi and everything on it, because I think it was quite badly ripped on the side there. Okay, so I've got some blank paper. Now this one here is my great aunt's oh gosh, I don't remember now. It's either my great aunt's or it's my grandmother's handwriting, and it's a cousin had sent me. She'd scanned and sent me through some of the recipes, and this, when I printed it out, it just printed onto an A4 sheet, and I've always kept it. So I have made a retro cookbook, and again, I will link that one up if you're interested to have a look at that one. That's been quite a popular video of mine. A lot of people kind of look at that. So if you want to get some ideas, if you want to make your own retro cooking journal, it's probably worth a look. And this is just one of the prints that came out, so I've put it in here. And there's the other side of that coffee dyed paper that I was telling you about, and there's some repairs there, which Bonnie from Bonnie and Clive, I think this is her idea of what to use or how to fix and use up your scraps, and how to fix those little tears in the side of the paper. So I've got some more of that original book page with some plants in there. There's some coffee dyed or tea stained, I don't remember now. Some more of the book page and some straw paper. I love this straw paper. I love the colour. So I'm looking forward to actually doing some work on that. And it's another seed packet here. So I will just have to cut very slightly down the side there, and then I can put something in there. So back to that Stamperia Oriental paper. This is cardstock. It's absolutely gorgeous, and the colours and just the thickness is really lovely as well. Beautiful dragonfly there. This is a cluster that I had made. I've got a little cluster container that I, just sometimes I'll just sit there and make up clusters, and then I'll pick through them. This is some paint samples, when you go to the and it looks like I have to try and, yeah, I can get that off, and I might put another little bit of trim there. I have not noticed that, but it's slid down a little bit, but that's okay. Easily fixed. We can, not that I would do that, but we can put something across there just to fix that. But I've embossed it. I've run it through my embossing machine, and so I've got this lovely print of a bird on there. Now this paper bag here, it's got a bit of a lovely story to it actually. I went to, I think it was through Facebook Marketplace, and I went and looked at some stamps, and I just asked if she might have anything else. I explained what I did, and she pulled out this Bowen's, it's an old bag, for when you go shopping. But if you have a look closely, you'll see some little holes in it, and you'll see down here there's some little holes. So it had been stored away like in a shed or something, and it had been eaten by snails, but the lady always held on to it because Bowen's is an old department store that's closed down now here in Perth. But you'll see if you googled Bowen's, you would find a lot of information about it. But I was happening to be watching YouTube, a tutorial for Artie Mays, and she was actually doing a bag, and I really liked the way how she did it, and I thought that might be a really good way I could restore this bag. So that's what I did. I kind of loosely followed her tutorial, but what I did was I got some vellum and I folded the vellum inside the bag, and then I glued this bag onto the vellum, and I just inked around with a tea dyed Tim Holtz distress ink, and then I've just embellished it. I've reinforced it a little bit with I've got an old catalogue, 1969 catalogue, and I just found some interesting images and cut strips, and then I reinforced the edges, and then I've just run a little bit of lace down here and just embellished it with a bit of a butterfly here. And then I've made this jumbo index card, which I've tea stained with some patterns and done a little bit of collage there, and with some more bunnies, which is always a favourite. And then I've just put some sari silk ribbon down the sides. So that's the story of the bag, and I was really pleased. Like on the other side here, I've done a little bit more collage work, and I've put one of those Tim Holtz paper dolls there with one of my collage little bundles that I've got. But with this Bowen's bag, I couldn't believe it. I saw some advertised either on Gumtree or maybe Facebook Marketplace, or maybe even eBay or someplace, and they were selling a bag for $50. So I was like, oh, I've got one of those, and I actually think I've done a marvellous job of restoring that one. So I've got a little pocket here, and I've just tucked a little tag in there. Okay, so I've got some more of my paper out of my stash. It's from an old gardening book, but I love the graph paper and just the holes on the edge. This is some scrapbooking paper, some more of that computer paper, and then I've just got my charms here. This one here, I've got just a little, I think it's actually meant to be like a little dumbbell, and then I've got this little yoga pose charm here. Okay, I'll just flick through. I think you get the idea. There's the other side of that Bowen's bag here, and that's the other side there. Not so damaged this side of it, but it's ready and waiting for something to be tucked inside there. This is just some sample papers that I got from a company called Spices. My son used to work there, and he organised for me to get a pack of samples sent to me, and so I'll just cover that over. Okay, so we're into another signature. This is some handmade paper. I'm not sure what's happened there, but I think it's just part of it, but it looks really cool the way it's done. I might have pieced it together at some point, but I don't think I have, because if you have a look, you'll see that the markings kind of run together, so I just think it's the way it worked out. There's another one of the tags, and I was playing around with some stitching on my machine. This is some trim that I've had and I've never used, but I just stitched it down the side of the page. I just thought it just looks so much fun, just poking out off the edge of my journal. Okay, how to draw portraits. This is a little pocket here that I've put together with book pages and just did a little bit of collage work. Beautiful dogs here. Some ledger paper. This is from 1947. Okay, some graph paper and some more computer paper. And this one, I haven't got any charms. As I said, you know, I didn't want to because I just picked out what I really loved, and then that was it. So I've got space now to find new charms as they come along, and that I can add to my journal. the other side of the ledger paper, and these gorgeous little prairie dogs. I mean, they look a little bit like meerkats to me, but I don't, they're not quite meerkats. Meerkats have got a bit more of a pointy nose and that. So yeah, these are prairie dogs. Very cute. And some craft brown paper. This was me playing around with the stitches on my machine, and so I just saw it sitting on my desk and I thought, oh, that would be a cute trim on the edge of a page. And this is some vellum paper that I've turned into a little pocket, so I can, I don't know, put a photo in there or put a nice card or something in there. This is the other half of that handmade paper, and I just love that paper there. Okay, some avocado dyed paper, some more book page with these beautiful botanical images in there, and some straw paper. This is some more fabric pages that I've sewn in, and again I've just done some stitching around the edge, and then I've stitched in some lines so I can have a play around. I've got watercolor pencils, and I just bought these Reeves oil pastels, but they're water soluble, so I'm just going to have lots of fun making marks and making backgrounds, and then, as I said, I can stitch some things on here, or I can use some graphite pencil and, you know, play around and make marks, and even maybe try sketching things on here. Okay, some straw paper, some more book page, and this is a flash card, and I've sewn some vellum so I can tuck something in there if I want. And I think this is the final signature, I think. So some straw paper, beautiful book page here. This is a lovely little ruffle that I folded the page over and made a side tuck. I love sweet peas, they're one of my favourite flowers. And then I just made this little ruffle here and edged it with some brown lace. There's some more vellum here that I've turned into a little page that's got a little pocket in it. It's a little half page here that I've done some collage work. Some more ledger paper, and I put a little key charm, but this one is empty. Ledger paper. There's some more of that half page, or just that little strip there, and I've lined it with some graph paper, and then I finished it off with some fun washi. And now I've got this little strip here, and I do have another project which I have not quite finished, and I'm hoping I can glue it on here and make it as a flap. So that might be a future video down the track. Absolutely love those flowers there. And this is some, I don't know where the other half of that paper is, but I really like this. Actually, I will try and find it. I must have moved over it and didn't really notice it. Here it is here. Maybe I skipped a page when I was turning, but I love this. Technicolor media shower, a splatter wiped with a paper towel. And I love that idea, so I thought I will play around with things like that. And like it says here, do splatters on this page and its backside, then get out your scissors and cut. Yeah, just fun to have a little play and just come up with different exciting little things that we can do with our journals and make marks on a page. So on this one here, this one is a smudge wiped with a paper towel. So I'm looking forward to my Wanderlust class actually. So there we go. We've got my back cover here. And again, I've made this, just used some manila file, and I just used a scrap and it just fitted. So I just covered it over with some, this is some linen. It's actually French linen, and I just absolutely love those little bunnies. And then there's some butterflies and some dragonflies. So that's the end of my journal flip through. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will be definitely having a play, and I will be using this in some YouTube videos coming up. So hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Bye.